Evelyn Harper stood in the arrivals section of the airport, holding a cardboard sign that read, Mr. Callahan, in her sister's handwriting. She checked her phone for the 10th time, reading the frantic text message from Sienna that had arrived 20 minutes ago. Emergency! Food poisoning from lunch. Can't pick up mom's client. Please go to airport now. Hold sign with his name. He's flying in from London. This is huge for my business. Please, please, please! Evelyn had been in the middle of her shift at the bookstore when Sienna's texts started coming in rapid succession, each one more desperate than the last. Their mother ran a luxury concierge service for wealthy clients, and Sienna had recently joined the business. Apparently, this Mr. Callahan was an important potential client, and missing his airport pickup would be a disaster. So here Evelyn stood, feeling conspicuous in her casual outfit of jeans and a cardigan, holding a makeshift sign while people in business suits hurried past pulling expensive luggage. At 26, Evelyn was used to being the backup plan. Sienna was the successful one, the beautiful one, the one who fit perfectly into their mother's world of high-end clients and exclusive services. Evelyn was the bookish sister who preferred quiet evenings with novels to networking events and business dinners. "Excuse me, are you here for Callahan?" Evelyn turned to find a man in his late 30s standing in front of her, wearing an expensive gray coat over a dark suit. He was devastatingly handsome, with dark hair and striking blue eyes, and he carried himself with the confidence of someone accustomed to being catered to. "Yes," Evelyn said, trying to sound professional. "Mr. Callahan, I'm here to take you to your hotel. I'm Evelyn Harper, filling in for my sister Sienna." The man studied her for a moment with an expression she couldn't quite read. "I see. Well, lead the way, Miss Harper." As they walked toward the parking garage, Evelyn tried to remember the details Sienna had texted about the client. British businessman, very wealthy, considering hiring their mother's company for ongoing concierge services. "Be professional, be charming, don't screw this up. How was your flight?" Evelyn asked, attempting to make conversation. "Long," he replied. "I don't particularly enjoy flying, but it's necessary for business." "What kind of business are you in, Mr. Callahan?" "Commercial real estate development, primarily in Europe, but expanding to the States." Hence this trip. They reached Sienna's car. A sleek sedan that was far nicer than Evelyn's beat-up Honda. Evelyn silently thanked whatever deity was listening that her sister had good taste in vehicles. As they pulled out of the parking garage, Evelyn's passenger pulled out his phone and started responding to emails. The silence felt awkward, so Evelyn turned on the radio to a classical station, hoping it was an appropriately sophisticated choice. "Not what I expected," the man said, looking up from his phone. "The music? I can change it." "No, I meant you." "The service. Your sister mentioned it was a family business, but I wasn't expecting such a personal touch. Most concierge services send professional drivers." "Well, this is a bit of an emergency situation," Evelyn admitted. "My sister got food poisoning, so I'm the emergency backup. I promise I'm a good driver, even if I'm not the polished professional you probably expected." A small smile crossed his face. "Honesty. That's refreshing. Most people in business try to pretend everything is perfect, even when it's clearly not." "I've never been very good at pretending," Evelyn said. "It's probably why I work in a bookstore instead of my family's business." "You work in a bookstore?" He sounded genuinely interested. "What kind?" "An independent bookstore in the arts district. Mostly literary fiction, classics, some poetry. We do author events and reading groups. It's not glamorous, but I love it." "That sounds considerably more interesting than my usual chauffeurs," he said. "Tell me, what are you reading right now?" And just like that, they fell into conversation. Evelyn talked about the books she'd been recommending to customers. He surprised her by being well-read himself, with opinions on contemporary literature that suggested he actually read for pleasure, not just business journals. "You're not what I expected either." "Mr. Callahan," Evelyn said as they stopped at a traffic light, "most of my mother's clients only talk about business and money. You actually seem to have interests beyond work." "Everyone has interests beyond work," he said. "Most people just don't ask. They assume anyone successful must be one-dimensional, focused solely on profit." "Are you? Focused solely on profit, I mean?" He was quiet for a moment. "I used to be. It's easy to let work consume everything when you're building something from nothing, But lately I've been wondering what the point of success is if you have no one to share it with and nothing in your life beyond spreadsheets and meetings. There was something vulnerable in his voice that made Evelyn glance over at him. He was looking out the window at the passing city, and for a moment, he didn't look like a powerful businessman. He looked lonely. "Here's a philosophical question for you," Evelyn said. "If you could only read one book for the rest of your life, what would it be?" He laughed. "That's an impossible question. All the best questions are impossible. But you have to choose." They spent the rest of the drive debating literature. And by the time they pulled up to his hotel, a 5-star establishment in the heart of the city, Evelyn realized she'd enjoyed herself more than she had in months. "Well, Mr. Callahan," Evelyn said as a hotel valet approached the car, "I hope this emergency backup service was acceptable." "More than acceptable," he said, meeting her eyes. "In fact, it was the best airport pickup I've ever experienced." "Thank you, Evelyn." "You're welcome. And I hope the rest of your stay is—" "Have dinner with me," he said suddenly. "Tonight?" Evelyn blinked in surprise. "I don't think that's appropriate. You're a client, and I'm supposed to be professional. I'm not asking as a client. I'm asking as someone who just spent 45 minutes having the most genuine conversation I've had in months. Please, have dinner with me." "I don't even know your first name," Evelyn protested. "It's Kieran," he said with a smile. "Kieran Callahan. Now will you have dinner with me?" Against every bit of common sense, Evelyn heard herself say, yes. That evening, Evelyn met Kieran at a small restaurant he'd chosen, something cozy and authentic rather than the high-end establishments her mother's clients usually frequented. Over dinner, their conversation flowed as easily as it had in the car. Kieran told her about growing up in Ireland, about losing his parents young and building his business from nothing. Evelyn talked about always feeling like the odd one out in her ambitious family, about finding refuge in books and stories. "Why do I feel like I can tell you things I don't tell anyone?" Kieran asked as they shared dessert. "Maybe because I picked you up by mistake?" Evelyn said with a smile. "We're not supposed to be here, so the normal rules don't apply." "About that," Kieran said. "I should probably tell you something." "What?" "I'm not actually Mr. Callahan. I mean, I am Kieran Callahan, but I'm not your mother's client." Evelyn felt her stomach drop. "What?" "I saw you holding that sign, and I thought you were one of those car service people." "My name is Callahan, and I did just fly in from London, so I thought you were my pickup. It wasn't until we were in the car that I realized you were expecting someone else." "Why didn't you say something?" Evelyn asked, feeling heat rise to her cheeks. "At first I was confused. But then you started talking about your bookstore and being the emergency backup. And you were so honest and genuine that I didn't want the moment to end. I thought I'd correct the mistake once we got to the hotel, but then you were so lovely that I couldn't bring myself to explain." He looked genuinely contrite. "I'm sorry. I should have said something immediately." Evelyn didn't know whether to laugh or be mortified. "So you're not a luxury concierge client?" "I am not. I'm just a regular person who runs a business and happened to have the right last name at the right time." "This is insane," Evelyn said. "Sienna is going to kill me. The real Mr. Callahan probably showed up at the airport and no one was there to meet him." "Actually," Kieran said, pulling out his phone, "I had my assistant check on that. There was another Callahan on the flight manifest, Timothy Callahan, American businessman. He was picked up by a different service that was looking for him. So your mother's client didn't get stranded." "You checked on that?" I felt terrible about the confusion. "But Evelyn, I'm not sorry it happened. Meeting you, talking with you, it's been the best thing that's happened to me in years. These past few hours, I haven't felt like a CEO or a businessman. I've just felt like myself." "I should be angry," Evelyn said. "This is completely ridiculous. Are you angry?" Evelyn thought about it. Was she? The situation was absurd, and she'd have to explain to Sienna what happened. But Kieran had given her something she hadn't had in a long time, an evening where she felt truly seen and appreciated for who she was, not compared to her more successful sister or judged for not being ambitious enough. "No," she admitted. "I'm not angry. I'm mostly just amazed that of all the Callahans flying in from London today, I picked up the one who reads literary fiction and asks impossible questions about books. Fate has a sense of humor. Kieran said. They saw each other every day for the rest of Kieran's week in the city. He extended his business trip twice, making excuses to his colleagues while spending his evenings with Evelyn. They went to bookstores and coffee shops, walked through parks, and talked about everything from philosophy to their favorite childhood memories. "I'm supposed to fly back to London on Sunday," Kieran said one evening as they sat in Evelyn's favorite bookstore after hours. She'd gotten permission from her boss to give him a private tour. "I know," Evelyn said quietly. "Come with me." She looked at him in shock. "What? Come to London with me? Or let me stay here? Or we'll figure out something in between. Evelyn, I know this is fast and possibly crazy, but I haven't felt this alive in years. You make me remember who I am beyond the business card and the bank account. Kieran, we barely know each other. We met a week ago under completely absurd circumstances." "I know, but I also know that I'm falling in love with you, and I think you might be falling in love with me too." "This is insane," Evelyn whispered, but she was smiling. "You're supposed to be in my life by mistake. This wasn't meant to happen." "Maybe the best things in life are the ones that aren't meant to happen," Kieran said, taking her hands. "Maybe I was meant to be on that flight, meant to see you holding that sign, meant to be the wrong Mr. Callahan so I could become the right person for you." Evelyn didn't go to London that week, but Kieran didn't leave either. He restructured his business to allow for extensive travel between London and her city. He rented an apartment near her bookstore and learned to split his time between 2 continents. 6 months later, when Kieran proposed in the airport arrivals section where they'd first met, he was holding a sign that read, "Will you marry the wrong Mr. Callahan?" At their wedding, Sienna gave a speech about how her food poisoning had led to her sister's happiness. "I always told Evelyn she should get more involved in the family business," Sienna joked. "I just didn't expect her to find a husband by picking up the wrong client." Years later, when people asked how they met, Evelyn and Kieran would laugh about the confusion, the mistaken identity, the improbable series of coincidences that brought them together. But they both knew the truth. Sometimes the best things in life come from happy accidents. From showing up at airports holding signs for the wrong person. From having the courage to spend 45 minutes in a car being genuinely yourself instead of pretending to be someone you're not. And sometimes, being the wrong Mr. Callahan is exactly right. If this story made you smile and reminded you that the best connections often happen when we're not trying to impress anyone and that sometimes mistakes lead us exactly where we're meant to be, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories about serendipitous meetings, falling in love through honest conversation, and learning that the wrong circumstances can create the right relationships. Comment below about a time when a mistake or mix-up led to something wonderful in your life. Sometimes picking up the wrong person leads us to exactly the right place.